Welcome to another edition of Dinner Starts Here. We are on the edge of St. Thomas. We've got Janis touring us around. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
So in behind us, and I don't know if you can see in the camera yet, we'll get better shots yet, but you've got beautiful flowers all over the place. You are a flower farmer.
Yes, we are.
How did you become a flower farmer?
Well, I started out, I've always loved flowers, and I think with my family, my dad was like the president of the Horticulture Society and that, and my great-grandma was in all the fall fairs and everything, had very avid gardeners in my family. And then one spring, Mom suggested that I buy gladiolus and grow them at the market that summer. Oh, yeah. And so I don't do anything small, so I started with 3,000 gladiolus.
3,000 was your first, let's give this a go?
Let's try it out.
Oh, man.
So we did that, and that summer went really well. So my husband was a long-distance boyfriend at that time, and I roped him into helping me with the flowers. And every summer we added more things. We added sunflowers and zinnias and everything throughout the summer. And anything that my grandma or my mom would let me pick from the garden, I did.
Even a few things you weren't allowed if you really needed it?
There was definitely rules.
You had boundaries you were given. Okay, good.
And it was funny because Grandma's rule was always there had to be one more of everything in the garden. You couldn't pick everything of it. And we ended up buying Grandma's farm, and now I just pick everything.
You just pick everything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, the whole yard is just full of all of these things. So,
in total, we grow about 4 acres of flowers.
Oh, wow. So this is, like you mentioned, your now husband and mom and all that, so this is a family farm?
Yeah, and we have 3 little kids. They're 7, almost 5, and 2. So they're right with us on the flower farm too.
So do they my kids always come and are always like, I want to pick a flower for Mom. Are they always picking flowers with you too? All that kind of stuff?
Always.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can go see some of them?
Sure, yeah.
All right, into the flower beds. Now, is that what you call them? Do you still call them flower beds I do?
We're a flower field, that's for
you're
sure.
a flower field. I guess if you've got this many, you can call it a flower field. So what are we standing beside?
These are the zinnias, and we grow a lot of zinnias for summer flowers because they definitely like the heat, and they have such a variety of colors. They're also something that florists don't normally have because they can't ship them. They're not a flower that can be shipped from...
Why is that?
Just because they don't have the vase life, and they don't like to be cold. They have certain things.
So then with, if this is a more delicate flower, how do you look after the flowers like this in a year? What are some of the jobs you do to look after?
Well, we start all of them from seed. So we like to say that our farm is seed to centerpiece. So when we're doing a wedding, the flowers that are in your wedding, we started from seed in our greenhouse, and then they get planted out and weeded a bunch of times. And then once they start flowering, we're picking them usually every 2 to 3 days. But different flowers have different things. The sunflowers we pick every night. Zinnias we pick every probably 2 or 3 days. And then they get looked after different ways, like with post-harvest handling, and so it's a whole business.
So harvest around here, because like vegetables, for instance, you have a week of complete madness, and you harvest it all. Here, you're harvesting
all the time.
All the time.
Yes.
That's basically planting is job one, and then after that, it's just harvest all the time.
Yep. And still planting in between. We still planted our last sunflowers yesterday, so we're still going the entire season so that we can have that succession and have flowers the whole season. We like to say our flower season is usually end of March until November.
All right, so here's the machine that gets things started for you every season.
Yeah.
The planter.
Yes.
How's the planter work?
It is a carousel type planter. So what we do is someone will sit on the seat, and the sunflowers are all started in trays that would sit here, and you drop the plant in, and as it swirls around, it drops and plants the plant, and it gives it a drink of water. And
well, that's what the tank is here. You fill her with water, and then just to kind of give it that start right off the bat.
Yep. This planter's normally meant for tomatoes and peppers and that, but we've modified it to make it plant sunflowers, and it does a great job.
I guess if you mentioned you're growing 20,000 sunflowers, you don't want to do that all by hand.
No, it takes us, we figured out, I think it takes about 5 minutes to plant a row of the sunflowers with this planter.
Oh, really? And if you were doing it by one hand? I mean, I know your 3 kids are probably pretty quick, but not that accurate.
No, and this is a great way to get a lot in quickly.
All right, over the sunflowers, and they don't really look like sunflowers yet, but you say these are ready to pick already?
This is exactly how we want to pick them. We pick sunflowers every single day. You have to, otherwise they will be in open bloom. When you get sunflowers, you don't want them to be totally out in bloom, because then they're not going to last as long for you. So we pick them so that they are just opening, and then the customer will have them flower the longest, and they'll last the longest for them.
Really? So every single night?
Every night.
You come out and like this one is a tonight picker?
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yep.
Definitely, for sure.
Yep.
Isn't that something? Now, I mean, sunflowers here, like they take up the most room in your flower field. Like they're everywhere over here. How many sunflowers do you have?
We grow about 20,000 throughout the whole season.
20,000 sunflowers, and you're starting picking them already, and you're going to pick them till
frost. Yeah.
So then how do these work? Because I mean, you've got tall ones here and you've got little ones here. Have you spaced them out?
Yeah, we stagger them so that we plant about 800 to 1,000 every 10 days or so.